Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have some hot news that you can't miss. So get ready because there's a lot of important information coming your way. Before we begin, we'd like to take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and stay up to date on all the news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which greatly strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the most passionate fans of the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news. Jayden Daniels sends a clear message to Commanders fans, pleading for change. The Washington Commanders' 2025 season has finally come to a merciful end, but for Jayden Daniels, it ended a month early. The talented quarterback played only 7 games and completed 4 of them due to a series of injuries that annihilated any remote hope of a playoff berth. Suffice it to say, it wasn't the second season anyone expected from him. Injuries were the main reason, but it's also fair to say that Daniels regressed from his electrifying rookie year, and going forward, he needs to correct what went wrong. Fortunately, no one understands this better than Daniels himself. Jayden Daniels finally acknowledges he needs to adjust his playing style. For many fans, Daniels' trajectory so far has generated extremely uncomfortable comparisons to Washington's last quarterback to be selected second overall, who won the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year award and was an elite dual-threat player. But what sets him apart from Robert Griffin III is all in the mind. At this stage of his career, Griffin demanded that Mike Shanahan discard his game plan to suit him and reportedly even boasted about his firing. Daniels, on the other hand, is taking responsibility for learning from his mistakes from start to finish. Jayden Daniels on the microphone for the last time before entering the offseason. I asked Jayden if he needs to change his playing style going forward. He said, "I think you always grow and mature. My best quality is being available. If I'm not on the field, I'm hurting the team." We could argue all day about whose fault Daniels' injuries were last year, but the fact is, if he's not on the field, it doesn't matter. The Commanders recruited him to be the face of the franchise for the next generation, and they can't base his success on his health. Everyone knew Daniels presented an injury risk coming out of college. He's extremely thin for a player who runs as much as he does. If he wants to have the stamina to remain a top-level quarterback in the NFL, he can't be exposed to hard impacts as frequently as he suffered last season. The Commanders need to do a better job protecting him. Ideally, the next offensive coordinator will make this a top priority. But he also needs to improve his court vision, finding ways to get rid of the ball instead of resorting, as he did far too often in 2025, to running whenever the pocket collapses or his first option isn't available. Fortunately, with a growth mindset, anything is possible. Throughout, Dan Orlovsky has just pressured the Commanders to hire a mass replacement for Bobby Johnson. A new era begins for the Washington Commanders. Coach Dan Quinn fired offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury and defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. after a disastrous 2025 season. They weren't the only ones sacrificed. Offensive line coach Bobby Johnson was also dismissed. Johnson did a good job overall. Nobody knows what happened behind the scenes, and bad seasons are usually accompanied by radical changes. Rumors about tense relationships within the network are far more concerning, so we can't underestimate Quinn's future to avoid speculation about his own professional situation in the coming months. His next hires are crucial. General Manager Adam Peters has distanced himself from decisions about the coaching staff, leaving that to Quinn. He already has a lot to worry about with the roster overhaul, and this would also give him less responsibility if things go very wrong. Dan Orlovsky urges the Commanders to invest heavily in Dwayne Ledford to replace Bobby Johnson. Dan Orlovsky had the perfect replacement in mind for Johnson. The former quarterback and now ESPN analyst insisted that Washington invest heavily in Dwayne Ledford, running game coordinator and offensive line coach for the Atlanta Falcons. Ledford may be looking for a new job after the firing of coach Raheem Morris by the NFC South team and would be an ideal signing for what the Commanders are trying to implement. Ledford mentored the Falcons' offensive line, transforming them into a formidable team with an even more formidable running game. Having Bijan Robinson helps, of course, but the gap-blocking scheme and wide zone concepts are among the things Washington intends to implement. It's one of the reasons Kingsbury was fired, and it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, the next offensive coordinator will have their own ideas about who to hire. This appointment needs to happen quickly, and it could even come from within the team itself if the Commanders don't want to lose David Blough amid interest from other clubs. The arrival of an external candidate seems desirable, but those in power must act quickly and decisively, as many other franchises are. The ideal replacement for Dan Quinn after Cliff Kingsbury has fallen into the Commanders' lap. The Washington Commanders are searching for a new offensive coordinator following the departure of Cliff Kingsbury. Their relationship was strained, and rumors of a falling out with general manager Adam Peters circulated before the change. Now, the goal is to find the ideal replacement to help the franchise improve. Coach Dan Quinn is under immense pressure to turn the situation around. If he doesn't get the next signings right, he could lose his job. Lists of candidates are being drawn up, but a bombshell announcement in the league could see a former close collaborator take the top spot on Washington's list. Despite leading a small recovery at the end of the season, the Miami Dolphins fired head coach Mike McDaniel after 4 years in the position. Speculation immediately arose about whether the decision was due to John Harbaugh's departure from the Baltimore Ravens, but ESPN's Adam Schefter declined to confirm this information. The Commanders should prioritize Mike McDaniel to replace Cliff Kingsbury. McDaniel's time in Miami may have ended bitterly, but he is one of the league's brightest offensive innovators. His scheme balanced running and passing, utilizing creative concepts that kept opposing defenses constantly on their toes. Putting superstar quarterback Jayden Daniels into that system brings incredible potential. Although the Commanders face competition from other teams in the league for McDaniel, his previous connection with Quinn may give Washington an advantage. There is a strong bond between them. McDaniel acknowledges that Quinn helped him overcome difficult times throughout his career. This relationship goes beyond football, and he has publicly stated that he will be eternally grateful to the Commanders' star for always believing in him. Mike McDaniel and Dan Quinn will always have a special connection. McDaniel wouldn't be where he is today without Quinn. It's also worth remembering that he was part of Mike Shanahan's famous coaching school in Washington, so there's already familiarity with the organization. The Dolphins wouldn't make this signing if Harbaugh wasn't available, and he should immediately become the Commanders' #1 priority. Give him everything he wants financially. Money shouldn't be a problem for Josh Harris, especially considering the absence of a salary cap for coaches. Other teams can do the same, but this existing relationship with Quinn, a mentor and role model for McDaniel, combined with the opportunity to work with Daniels, makes this decision obvious for Washington. If he wants to take time off from the head coaching position again, the Commanders should seize the opportunity, and the need to act quickly cannot be underestimated.